I was 16, delighting in the carefree days of my youth in Northern California, when I met him one cold, stormy night in January 2019. It was the beginning of the semester at my local community college, and I was lost, walking circles around the campus. I was looking for the philosophy class I would be taking, anxiously searching for the classroom that was going to answer all my questions about life. On my third circle through the humanities wing, I looked up from my map and I saw this guy walking down the hall towards me. He asked me what I was looking for. I felt this strange feeling run up and down my spine. In the innocence of my 16 years, it was a feeling I had never felt before. I'm looking for philosophy class with Professor Sherrick. Do you happen to know where it is? I asked him. No way, I'm in her class too, he grinned. I'll find it with you. I couldn't shake that strange feeling as we found the class, and he sat in the back row next to me. Growing up as a kid, I was never very popular, and I had a challenging time making friends. I was always that kid that would stay in the classroom at lunch and work on homework or read with the teacher. I felt alone. So when he asked for my phone number one night, despite my uneasiness, I gave it to him. He was 19 and I was 16. He would follow me out after class each night. He would follow me to the parking lot, and he'd stand there next to me in the dark while I waited for my dad to come pick me up. As soon as my dad's truck headlights turned into the parking lot, he would be off. After the class ended in the spring, he continued to call and to text me. He'd ask me when I would come hang out, and I would always tell him I was busy. I couldn't shake that strange feeling that there was something not so good. Fast forward to January 2020, my senior year of high school, and finally I felt like I had found a group of friends, and I so badly wanted to feel like I fit in and belonged. So when the girls invited me to the movies, I was excited to go. Just before the movie started, I got up to go use the restroom, and as I walked down the hall, I saw this guy at the end of the hallway staring straight at me. It was him. I ran into the bathroom, not sure what to do, and then when I came out, there he was, still standing in the same place, staring straight at me. I pretended like I hadn't seen him, and I went back into the movie, only to look down at my phone and to see I had 3 missed calls and 5 missed text messages from him, asking, "Was that you just now?" I ignored the messages. The movie finished, my friends and I walked out, and there he was, standing right in front of the entrance, waiting for me. He came over to me, stopped me in my tracks, and he asked me, "So how's life going?" The girls I was with, they walked down the hall to wait for me. I told them life was great and I needed to go rejoin my friends. When I ran back to them, ready to get out of there, one of the girls whispered, "Isabella, who is that?" Just some guy from my philosophy class I met a year ago. I said, "Come on guys, let's go." No, wait a minute. "He's kind of cute. And he clearly likes you," another girl whispered. "You should give him a chance." The other girls echoed their agreement, and before I knew it, we were sending him a text message. That text message led to more calls and more messages that I answered. Now I was 17 and he was 20, soon turning 21. I had just gotten accepted to ASU, to Barrett the Honors College, when he decided he was also going to go to ASU. 750 miles from my family and my hometown in Northern California, and now I was on my own for the first time. With him. He was the only person I would spend time with for the next year of my life. So I didn't talk to anyone when things started to happen that weren't so good. One night, I went over to his apartment to bring dinner, and when I got there, he was acting strange. So I asked him what was wrong, and he stared off blankly until finally he looked at me, and he said, "Do you realize how annoying you are? No one wants to hear you talk. Do you realize how tired people are of you?" Confused, I asked him, "Then why do you want to be with me?" He stared off, shrugged his shoulders. "I don't know, but you've got a nice body." I felt my heart shatter into a million pieces around me. I was sitting on the floor at the time, so I turned towards the wall so he wouldn't see me crying. And while I was crying, he grabbed me and he did what he wanted to do. And he took with him the last piece of value that I still saw in myself. He got up to use the bathroom. I ran out. I didn't know where I was going, but I didn't want to be here anymore. Terrifying and impulsive thoughts flooded my mind as I thought of all the ways I could end the pain I was in. Amidst that pain, this girl found me crying on the steps of Hayden Library that night, and she walked me all the way home to my dorm to make sure I was safe. In those darkest days of my life that I couldn't even recognize myself anymore, I cried out, "If there is a God out there, please give me a sign. I can't keep going." The next day, I went to the Memorial Union to study and to try and distract myself from the pain I was in. But I just couldn't, and I just laid my head down and I cried. Finally, I felt this hand tap my shoulder, and I looked up, and this girl set this note down in front of me. She smiled and she said, "God loves you so much." I actually saved the note that she gave me that day, and I have it here with me today. And this is what she wrote. "Hey, sorry you're having a rough day, and also sorry I don't have real tissues. I'm praying for you." Moments later, this young man approached me holding 2 pink cake pops from Starbucks. "Hey," he said, "I saw you crying earlier, so I went to Starbucks and I bought us cake pops so we could eat them together, and you would know that you're not alone. I feel your pain. My aunt died this morning. Whatever's going on right now, I want you to know that God loves you so much, and He has a purpose so big for you. And I know you might not be able to see it right now, but I promise you, there is going to come a day where you see why you needed to keep putting one foot in front of the other. Injustice has your home address. He has your phone number. He waits for the perfect moment to torment you in twisting agony, in shame, in fear, in lonely isolation. But in that twisting agony, there is a redemptive justice that can restore all that is broken through the kindness the mercy and the compassion of everyday people. And it was because of those everyday people that inspired me to start a life coaching business, a personal development program for college students, where I get to work with young adults like 16-year-old Isabella. Now, every day in my business, I am a witness to justice through the workshops I teach, through the coaching programs I get to create, where now I get to empower others to live in the fullness of who we are all created to be. I'm 21 now, and I'm no longer lost walking circles around campus. Now, I know exactly who I am, and who I am is because of His justice.